What's going on behind the scenes and off the microphone at the Magic Word podcast? Hear what listeners and guests are saying that isn't on the podcast this week on The Magic Whisper.
Hello, this is Scott Wells, and welcome to another episode of The Magic Whisper. Well, this week we've got a lot to go through, so rather than recapping what's going to happen, let me jump right into it. The first thing I wanted to mention is, of course, that recently we have lost someone, Tony Shiels, known as Doc Shiels. He recently died. He was an artist, musician, an actor, a magician, a writer, playwright, showman, and a wizard as well. The kind of things he had written, in fact, I've got a book of his, the Cantrip Codex here, that's got pictures of his family, and this particular book was signed by him, and it does have, this was actually once owned by Markham, as you can see over here, and I saw this recently on eBay, I believe, and it was selling for like about, about $135 or $180 or something. Anyhow, he was a bizarrist, kind of an occult magician, I guess if you would say, and not just someone who was a mentalist. He kind of took the next step, kind of like Tony Andruzzi. Well, anyhow, this we just wanted to mention about how that he was very creative and will be missed by many. Well, let's get this going with some listener mail. I recently had received some mail. One was an email from George Reese, who was actually a friend of the Magic Word. And he says, thanks for your podcast. What a great bunch of guests you've had over the past several weeks, of course, over the years. But the past few weeks have been really inspiring. After your interview with Giovanni Livera, I found a used copy of Live 1,000 Years on Amazon and bought it. I finished it last night. What an inspirational book. I found Mr. Livera to be such a positive, motivating, and energetic person, regardless of his being a magician. He was still just an amazing person. Adding magic to the mix is just a bonus. Thanks again for what you do. Feel free to pass along my comments to Mr. Livera. I find myself wanting to know more about him and to find an opportunity to see him and hear him speak and also to perform. I did pass it on to Gio, and he was thankful for that. And if there's something that you like about one of the podcasts, let me know. I'd like to hear what you say, and this way I know what kind of material you like the best then as well. I also had a suggestion then from Ray Holcomb, who had said, how about an interview with Mario Manzini or Steve Santini or Thomas Solomon? The theme being escape artists. Well, I did have a episode with Jonathan Goodwin some years ago, who was touring with the Illusionists just prior to COVID, and he had been on America's Got Talent. Anyhow, he was injured in a escape that went bad, and he's no longer performing. But he is the only other one I can think of that I really spent some time talking to. But I kind of like the idea of speaking with some of these gentlemen and having an episode that might be a little bit more about escape artists. I do want to tell you a few tour dates. I've been working with some lectures on a couple of people. One is with Ari Phillips, who's going to be coming over for Magic Live. He will be actually going to a few conventions. He's from the UK and going to be coming to the US, and not only at these conventions where there will be a dealer only, he's going to be stopping in a few cities around the country, and where he will be then lecturing then as well. So he's going to be in on August the 12th, he'll be in Greenville, North Carolina. 15th of August, he'll be in Boca Raton. And on August 21st in Austin, Texas. Then the 22nd in San Antonio, Texas. Be in Lake Charles, Louisiana on August 26th. Houston, Texas on the 27th. And then he'll be in Dubuque, Iowa on September the 4th. And then in Huntsville, Alabama on September the 12th. So he's going to be doing a little bit of traveling about while he is here. And he'll be going to Magic Live. He's going to be going to the Magic Con in Raleigh, North Carolina. And then he's going to be going to, I think, another convention somewhere in there while he is, of course, Magic Texas. He's going to be coming up to that convention over Labor Day weekend. Losander is going to be touring also coming this fall. And he's going to be starting his lectures on September the 9th in Boca Raton. On September the 14th, he'll be Magic at the Beach. It'll be a convention there in Charleston, South Carolina. Going to be going to Louisville, Kentucky on September the 20th, September 23rd to Mount Prospect, Illinois. On the 24th of September, he will be in Indianapolis. On the 26th in Cincinnati, Cincinnati, the 29th in Chicago at Magic Inc. He's going to be in Evansville on September the 30th, and then October 1st, St. Louis, Missouri. On the 2nd at Springfield, and October 3rd in Kansas City. On the 7th, he'll be in Des Moines, Iowa. On the 8th in Omaha. On the 10th, Little Rock, Arkansas. On the 12th, he's going to be in Branson, Missouri. And on the 13th, Fort Worth, Texas. On the 14th, Lake Charles, Louisiana. The 15th in Houston, Texas. And then the 16th, he'll be in Austin, Texas. He'll be in Denver on October the 19th, tentatively right now. And then finally wrapping it up in Tucson, Arizona on October 23rd. So he has a rather ambitious schedule that is coming up as well. If your city was not listed there, please let me know. I'd be glad to try to fit you in on the schedule for either Ari Phillips, if I can, or with Losander, if you're interested then too. Also, I did have a nice comment about the recent episode that I had with Cody Clark, in which someone had said, Cody has come a long way from the early days performing at IBM Ring 198 Unconventional Convention. This interview has more information about the business side than any other podcast or book has given. Bravo. And that was from Terry Terrell, 686. So I want to thank Terry very much for those comments. And suggest if you would please pass on a comment to me if you happen to have, again, something that you've enjoyed about one of the recent guests that I've had. Speaking of guests, I want to give you a quick clip of who we've got coming up this week. That's going to be Joe Devlin. So here's just a short clip of some advice from Joe.
You know, I always say about magicians, they're so busy copying the Mona Lisa. And most of those copies are awful. You know, they're not artists. The Mona Lisa already exists. So why would you copy the Mona Lisa if you're going to do it poorly? You have more of a chance of creating your own sloppy artwork, being successful at that, than you are copying something that's been done to perfection.
That's just a little short soundbite. I know that you're going to enjoy it. Joe and I had just a great conversation, and I recorded it on video on Zoom, so that's going to be available through YouTube as well. So you can check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. That'll be released this coming Thursday morning. And you'll notice that got a picture then over here then of Banachek giving us the shushing finger up to his lips. I had suggested a few weeks ago if you would please just send in your picture of you putting your fingers to your lips in that traditional pose. I'd be glad to post that here on the Magic Whisper in a future episode. I would also like to suggest if you can give me some help financially, that would be greatly appreciative. If you can just go to patreon.com/themagicword and help out by pledging $5, $20, whatever it is a month that you can afford, that will be greatly appreciated. Just think about if you enjoyed the podcast, perhaps that you can afford at least a cup of coffee a week or maybe a nice glass of scotch. That'd be great. If you want to use PayPal, that you can do that as well. All the information is there on the website at themagicwordpodcast.com. Please assist us. We certainly would appreciate your help because we've recently had some people who have fallen off for a variety of reasons, have had to cancel their pledges. And so we need to try and see if we can make that up. We have still a lot of things coming up that we need to pay for. One of which this coming week, I'm going to be this next weekend, or week, I should say, I'll be going to Colon, Michigan, where I'll be attending Abbott's Get Together. It's going to be their 90th birthday party, and it's just got a stellar lineup. I hope to see some of you listeners there, and I'll be going directly from there. I'm actually flying into Chicago, renting a car, going on to Colon, Michigan, then from there going back to Chicago Sunday morning and flying to Las Vegas for, that's right, Magic Live. And there'll be about 1,600 of us there, so I hope to see you perhaps there. And if so, please come up. If you see me with a microphone, I'll be glad to chat with you for a little bit, and maybe you can hear yourself on an upcoming episode of one of the daily reports from there. So that's about all that we have time for here this week, other than just to remind you one last thing, and that is you got less than 48 hours to fill out the form. And actually, you've got, let's try to do it within the next day, within the next 24 hours. Please sign up for the contest if you are interested in winning a book of Magic Your Mind Happy by Richard Wiseman. This was a book that he had offered that will be sent to you post-paid. He's got 2 copies, which will be personalized to you. He'll autograph it to you. So we have quite a few people who have entered, but you may be the name who is luckily drawn in our random drawing for that prize. So please register at themagicwordpodcast.com. And it's on this last week's episode as well as the one before. So it's the one that had Cody Clark and then the one, of course, with Dr. Richard Wiseman. Well, I think that's all the time we have for this week. Please join us again next week for The Magic Whisper.
Share the whisper with other magicians and join us next time on The Magic Whisper. The Magic Whisper is a division of the magicwordpodcast.com.